It's Hot Mike Sports, y'all. The mic is sizzling, and I got something hot to talk about today at Hot Mike Sports. It's Dev, so let's get right into it, y'all. Is gambling ruining sports? Come on, let's talk about it. With that being said, did you know Americans spent $150 billion in sports betting last year? $150 billion. So today, we're going to talk about the real talk behind the headlines, behind the stats, right? Behind all the narratives in sports. Let's get right into it, y'all. So over the last year or so, DraftKings, BetMGM, Bet365, ESPN Bet, all of these apps have blown up overnight. It's kind of like sports and betting got married overnight, just went and eloped. And then the next morning you woke up and it was all good. Which, there's nothing wrong with sports betting. I don't disagree with it. I think if you're truly a fan of the game and you truly enjoy watching your best and your favorite players play, I don't think there's nothing wrong with betting on sports. Hell, that's why we can all do it now. And with that being said, the feds have made it legal for us to gamble in certain states. You log in after a hard days of work. You say, hey, you know what? I'm going to bet X amount of money on X amount of players to do X amount of performance. And what that does is it keeps the person who doesn't typically watch sports engaged. Now your mom cares, your grandmother cares. Those few coworkers at work that you never knew watch sports, now all of a sudden they're engaged in it because they have bet their hard-earned money to see these players and these performances come through to put a little money in their pocket. And I can't blame you for that. Who doesn't like money? But one thing that it does is it makes us question the integrity of the players on the court and on the field. There's been a few eyebrow-raising performances, a few red flag performances, in my opinion, okay? The James Harden 20 points in the first half was a red flag to me, okay? Seeing players throw the ball out of bounds when nobody's there, shots over the backboard, throwing the ball out of bounds, all of these things that happen out of nowhere, and you're kind of like, hey, what's going on with this? And it's like, as you're watching the game, you don't really pay attention, like, oh, yeah, whatever. But then you go back and watch the game, and you're like, okay, what's really going on, right? So not only do you have these people who don't watch sports betting on sports, but now you're engaged because you have money on certain players and questioning certain players' integrity when your parlay or your bet doesn't go through for you. Because the federal investigation over the last, 6 months to a year has really opened my eyes to it. Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Malik Beasley, Gilbert Arenas, all allegedly have been caught in sports gambling. So it makes me wonder who else is not getting caught in sports gambling, allegedly, right? You have players playing, and one night they're good, the next night they're not. And it's kind of like you look at their averages, and it's kind of like, hey, you average a triple-double. Like, how did you not get a double-double tonight? Or you average an X amount of points or X amount of yards. What happened tonight? And it's against subpar teams. And then it's kind of like you have fans getting upset with players now. And then they have a platform in social media to talk about it. X, Twitter, whatever the case may be. Fans and casual fans who, go to ESPN.com or NBA, NFL, whatever the case they like to watch. They check the stat line. They say, hey, this is what happened in the game. And now that gives them the power, or they feel like it gives them the power, to now go on these social media platforms and badmouth the player or say this or say that or heckle a player when they're at the game and they're watching them play. Which is interesting to me because now it's more than just your casual fan, right? What about the people who actually have been watching the game for years, been paying attention to the game for years? What about those people? Those people who have watched great players play and put legacies on the field, on the court, whatever sport that they specialize in, where they didn't take nights off. And that person who saved up all week to go watch them play, or that little kid with the posters all over his wall, or who wears the jerseys or the sneakers, whose parents have saved up to take them to the game, to watch your favorite players and their favorite players not show up. How does it make them feel? Put the betting aside. Let's just talk about the love for the game, the integrity of the game. The great players who have laid the foundation on every sport before sports betting became legal. You used to have a bookie or go to Vegas. And the likelihood of that was very minimum. You had to know somebody. But what about the love for the game? What about watching your favorite players play with hard work and ethic on the court or the field? You know, you look at great players like Kobe Bryant, the Mamba mentality. Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time. LeBron James with his longevity. Tom Brady with his dedication to the game for 20 plus years. You see these players play with these legacies and this greatness for the love of the game. You did not ever have to question their integrity whenever they stepped on the court or the field. When they showed up, they were there. There was none of these eyebrow-raising performances. Like, what's going on? You didn't have to worry about that because they had true love for the game. You didn't have to question their integrity. And yeah, a couple of those players came along when social media wasn't prevalent, but still, just go back and look at the product that they put on their performances. You can clearly see the love for the game was there. Now players come at halftime, they check their phones, they check their stats, they see where they're at. And you have a few players speak out on this, including Michael Porter Jr. Publicly came out and talked about it. Gilbert Arenas publicly came out and talked about it. Now, like I said, allegedly a few of these players were accused of gambling on certain games or whatever the case may be, but that's neither here nor there. This is about a few things. Sports betting that came up overnight, players' integrity, the love for the game, the casual fan. This is the real talk behind the headlines, y'all. And we can't forget the amount of money being spent by hardworking Americans, including myself, to play a parlay. So you can not only enjoy the game, but hey, there might be a little benefit in it for me. Right? But it changes when it's the actual players betting on themselves or taking nights off, knowing that somebody has placed a certain amount of money or Vegas has a certain amount of money bet on a player, and then all of a sudden they don't put up the performance that you expect. So what do you think? Do you think sports betting is ruining the game? Do you think it's making us question the integrity of the game? Comment, let us know. Do you think that players now are jeopardizing their legacies for sports betting? Comment, let us know. Here at Hot Mike Sports, we love to talk about it. So until next time, y'all, keep your bets smart and keep your takes hot. This is Dev signing off. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you again on Steel City Sagas. I'll see you on our next episode of our Thursday night recap. Tune in, follow, like, subscribe. Let us know how you feel. This is Dev signing off, y'all.